Are you someone with kyphosis, or do you just want to know how to improve your posture? Today we're going to talk about how to improve kyphosis with one simple exercise. This is an exercise I use in the clinic all the time, and I'm Dave with Align Therapy. This is what I do every day. I work with patients with spinal deformities, and today we're going to talk about kyphosis. Okay, so one simple exercise that you can do to improve your kyphosis or your posture immediately. This is an exercise I usually start with my kyphosis and posture patients. And it's pretty simple, but there are specific things to it that we need to do correctly. So let's get into it. First of all, we have to realize where posture usually comes from, and I'm talking about sitting posture the most. This applies to standing posture as well, but we can directly use this with sitting posture. Think about how often we sit during the day. We sit while we are in the car, we sit while we're at work a lot of times, we sit while we're watching movies or shows, and we sit a lot during the day. So usually I'll start with sitting correction first with my kyphosis patients. So if you don't know what kyphosis is, check out some of our other videos on kyphosis, because kyphosis is rounding of the upper back. Technically, we can have kyphosis in any area of the spine. So you can have kyphosis in the upper back, you can have kyphosis in the low back, pretty much anywhere. You can even have kyphosis in the cervical spine and the neck. So kyphosis is rounding forward of posture and of the spine. So what do we do to reduce kyphosis? First of all, we have to start at the bottom. So the base of the spine is the pelvis. I talk about with my patients, like, we have building blocks, and what is the most important block in the tower when we're making a tower with building blocks? It's the bottom block, because if the bottom block is tipped or tilted, the whole tower is going to not be straight. So the bottom block in the tower is the most important block. So first, we're going to start with controlling where that bottom block is. So if someone's slouching, a lot of times we'll say sit up straight or pull your shoulders back. And they can do that, but it doesn't affect the kyphosis like they think it does, because we're not addressing the base or where everything's coming from. So if I just pull my shoulders back, it might improve the look of my posture, but my kyphosis is kind of the same. So if I start with the bottom block, I tilt my pelvis forward so that I'm sitting tall, and I create a little bit of an arch in my low back called the lordosis. So that's the first part of this, is we recreate the lordosis so that we're sitting tall. That automatically, if you watch my shoulders, just that brings my shoulders back over my hips. So that's the first part. Second part is we're going to go tall. I was going to say think tall thoughts, but that's not really what we're doing. Dancers know this as like a string tied to your hair, and pretend like you're being pulled up. I'll tell my patients, pretend like I'm pulling your hair up, and what would you do? You would follow that for that elongation. So we're not trying to sit up straight, even though that's technically what we're trying to do. We're trying to sit tall. So that means we tip the pelvis to where that's in neutral. Don't overdo it. We're not trying to really arch that low back a ton. We're tipping so your pelvis is level and horizontal with the floor, and then we're going tall with our head, like someone's pulling a string upward. So what we get from that, if someone's sitting in postural kyphosis like this, we start at the base, we sit tall with some lordosis, then we use some elongation like someone's pulling a string upward. It's a simple exercise, and that's really the basis of it, the basics of it. We start at the pelvis, and then we start to elongate the spine like someone's pulling our hair. If we think about someone pulling our hair upward or a string, then we don't get a lot of this. We just get some nice elongation where that takes some of that kyphosis out. Now this helps for some kyphosis curves. It doesn't necessarily fix the Scheuermann's kyphosis or the structural kyphosis. So keep that in mind. This could help if you're just struggling with your posture. But if you have more struggles than just that, or you have more pain, or you have a structural curve like Scheuermann's kyphosis, then we probably need to do a specific method like the Schroth method for kyphosis. It works great, but it does take some learning and some time to do. This exercise is great for anyone who is aware of their posture enough to do this throughout the day. Ergonomics can help play into this. We can talk about that in a future video. And this is a great one for all of us. We sit a lot, and I think this is a good way to be conscious of how we should be sitting. The spine should be supporting itself, and your head, the bowling ball we call your head, should be centered over your spine, which is centered over your pelvis. So keep that in mind. I don't expect you to hold this all day long, but this is a good way to try and get some elongation and fix some of that kyphosis posture. So I hope that was helpful. If you're looking for more videos on kyphosis, you can check out our other videos. And thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.